I heard that you guys aren't laughing during my intro jokes. Guess I'm not even remotely funny. What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about vampirism. Now, thankfully, vampirism in 2025 is probably a lot easier of a choice because it's either fantastic for you or really not helpful at all. So thankfully, because of that, we can start breaking it down relatively quickly and easily should you be a vampire in 2025. And to become a vampire, you have to go to one of three major shrines. We are here at the one inside of Bankrai, but there are two others. But the key thing is that you need to be bitten by an existing vampire. Now, this used to be pretty annoying because as vampires would ebb and flow in the meta, sometimes we would find situations where there weren't that many vampires and then a new patch would come out and it'd be like, ooh, we should be a vampire again. But because of the armory system that allows you to instantly become and cure vampirism, it's very easy to find people to bite you, and you can use my Discord below. And if you want to come to the one in Bankrai, it is over here, and Bankrai is in this zone if you've never been over here. But you can easily pick either the Elvish Shrine, or you can go to the Daggerfall, or the Ebonheart Pact one as well. We are inside of the Daggerfall Covenant Shrine. It does not make a difference which one you go to. You just need an existing vampire to bite you. Do not buy it from the Crown Store, or I will slap you with a wet pool noodle. And you can wait for NPCs to be here to do it, but if you want to be a vampire, just go to the Discord or go to any groups, Facebook, band, or otherwise, and get somebody to bite you. I promise it will be easy. I know social interaction is always not people's strong suit. It'll be okay. And once you become a vampire, you gain access to the vampire skill line, which is obviously going to determine what here is going to be helpful for you. Now, I will be truthful, a lot of the skills for vampirism are not very good compared to the subclassing counterparts. For example, Blood Scion is neat, but there's a Necromancer ultimate that does arguably a little bit better, and it doesn't require you to be a vampire. Eviscerate is pretty good, but most people, if they just want a nice little spammable these days for a Magicka up close one, they're just going to pick jabs. Simmering Frenzy has always been a bit risky. You might see it on things like bombing builds or archery builds, because basically you're spending your life to gain weapon and spell damage, but you slowly start to kill yourself. Vampiric Drain doesn't see too much utilization, but you might see it every so often for PvP because it heals you, deals a little bit of damage, and you can also use this to gain like a bunch of ultimate back, but not super good. Mesmerize is a stun. I have seen it used sporadically every so often in PvP because it is a really easy to target stun. But again, with subclassing, you could get stuns for free all over the place. Or if you're already playing an up close and personal build, you could stun people with things like Dizzying Swing or half a dozen other skills. Mist Form is not what it used to be, unfortunately. It does give you a little bit of a teleport. People are like, hey, you know, now I can have a little bit of a streak. Well, problem is 2025, you could streak with the real streak, even if you're a Dragon Knight, if you so chose to. So a lot of what we are really going to break down is the essentials of, is the passive perks worth it? Vampirism has always been known for the passives. So that's really where we're going to be making a break in. Is it worth this for you? You can see here, there's 4 stages of vampirism, and each stage is associated with different buffs and debuffs. For example, at stage 4, your health recovery is essentially 0 because it's negative 100%, and your flame damage taken is an additional 20%. If you were to be a stage 3 vampire, you would have negative 60% health recovery and plus 13% flame damage taken, with a regular ability cost of plus 8% if you're a stage 3. But your vampirism cost would be down negative 16%. Not the greatest passives to have, if I'm being truthful with you, because if you think about it, it's a lot of flame damage. You're going to take flame damage quite a lot, especially for PvP and even PvE. Think about how many times you see a red boss going at you with a little bit of fire. Not ideal, in 2025. But there is a reason to be vampires, and that's why I'm telling you, it's either great for you or it's not great at all. And as we go through these perks, some of them require you to be at different levels of vampirism. So this first one does not require you to be any. So it could be a stage 1, which is the stage that you're going to just default be at. You ignore the speed penalty of sneak, and you decrease the time it takes to enter sneak by 50%. So this is pretty good. If you're making a character who is a thieving build, if you're just focusing on kind of a character who's interested in going through and stealing items. I have a character that's dedicated to being hard to detect and steal from NPCs. It's fantastic for that. Or if you're in Cyrodiil, Battlegrounds, or PvP, Imperial City, having a 0 movement speed penalty for sneak is also exceptionally helpful because it allows you to navigate the battlefield on a specific type of playstyle. That's going to be a lot more evident as we go through these next couple perks. And here it is. When you leave sneak, invisibility, or misform, your weapon and spell damage is increased by 300 for 6 per seconds. So you have to be a stage 2 vampire. So we talked about some of the debuffs for stage 2 vampirism. Most people are probably still going to be either a stage 3 or 4, but some people will likely be a stage 2 vampire. But basically, because of, if you think about it, now everybody has the ability of the shadow class line. We all can become invisible, meaning we all can come out of invisibility relatively easily. We don't have to use misform or any sort of weird mumbo jumbo to get this to proc. 6 seconds is a long time. So for Cyrodiil archer builds, whether even if it's like a Stam Sork or just a Nightblade archer, we have bombers that absolutely love this. We have the 1vx brawlers that use invisibility. The Stam Blades definitely still really like that archetype. It's a fantastic archetype to go into. It's, if you're a PvE player, not as helpful though. So you might think to yourself, Jake, what am I using this for PvE for? Really not a whole lot, if I'm being truthful. You going in and out of invisibility or misform is not really going to happen a whole lot in PvE content, or if it is, it's because you're stealing something or looting things in the overworld, and you really probably don't care about a 300 weapon and spell damage bonus. Next up is Undeath. Now, Undeath used to be the reason that everybody was a vampire for the longest time, because it used to reduce your damage taken by more. Now it's 15% based on your missing health. So at full health, it's 1. And as you get closer to execute range, it goes to 15%. It can make you a little bit more beefy, but the problem is that in 2025, if you're taking all this extra flame damage, you're probably going to be taking more damage than you would be anyway. Plus, we have scribing. People are just slapping on things like flame damage to mess with vampires. So this is not really a super good reason to be a vampire, unfortunately, but it used to be a very good reason. But if you already are a vampire, better than nothing, if I'm being honest. So it's better than a slap in the face. And next up, we have the ability to bite somebody. Now, we can actually see here there's somebody who needs to get bitten, and they are getting bitten behind us. Now, if you have Blood Ritual, you're also allowed to do exactly what you just witnessed, which is give somebody a vampirism curse. It does not stack with lycanthropy, which is being a werewolf. You know how I feel about that. So it gives you the ability to spread vampirism. What's nice about that too is that I always try to maintain a couple characters with vampirism to give it to other players. And please just never use your crowns for it. And don't spend gold on it either. I know people will tip people if they make them a vampire, but there are so many people out there who will do it for free. You really don't need to worry about doing that. Again, Discord below. And finally, we have Unnatural Movement, which reduces the cost of sprint by 50%, which is a lot. And if you continuously sprint for 3 seconds, you gain full invisibility, which is very, very helpful. So some people use this for PvP. Obviously, it's a get out of jail free card. Being able to get in and out of sprint after sprinting can be very helpful. The cost of your sprint is reduced. There are, as we know, significant downsides to being a stage 4 vampire, but there are some upsides because obviously going into stealth. But the real utilization for this, I think, is a bit undescribed for most people, in that I think the best reason to be a stage 4 vampire is questing. This may sound absolutely ridiculous, but if you guys remember when scribing first came out, there was tens of hours of questing that had to be done, and being able to sprint sneak past tens of hours of questing content, I still completed the quest, got all the rewards for the quest, unlocked scribing, did all of the glyphs and things that I needed to get unlocked. And it was just very, very convenient to be able to do it that way. And the reason I was able to do it so easily is because when you can sprint sneak, life is easier. If you want to do things like the Dark Brotherhood, the Thieves Guild quest line, sprinting is just easier. If you want to be able to just run through public dungeons, get to the boss, get your skill point, get out, it's very easy to be able to sprint past all the enemies. And the nice thing is, there's the armory system that will allow you to flip-flop. If you want to be a vampire, you don't want to be a vampire. You want to be a vampire, you don't want to be a vampire. And so because of that, your life is going to be exceptionally easy and you can pick and choose. So think Master Thieving builds, being able to significantly decrease the time it takes for questing. A lot of people like to say, oh, questing, Jake, and that's such a silly utilization. If you think of the average time spent questing is like, we'll say 10 hours. So let's say your normal 10 hours of questing on a character. If you can reduce that down to 4, because that's about how quickly it felt I was able to get through 60% faster by not having to fight so many enemies, except literally the one right before the door if it was a boss. That's probably about how much time I save. So saving yourself 60% of time spent on questing, in my opinion, is definitely worth it. So that's the real utilization for PvE. Unfortunately, there are obviously builds that you can make for a vampire for PvE, but you're not going to be doing them too often. For PvP, it really is going to depend. Are you coming in and out of stealth? If yes, vampire. It's really that simple. And then if you're not doing that, you probably don't want to be a vampire, because yes, undeath is certainly not the worst passive in the world, but it's also really not pulling the weight that it used to when it was twice as good. So I don't think that you need to be a vampire unless you are going in and out of stealth, or maybe you're going in and out of mist form. And even if you are, you're probably going to be doing something very bursty, very sneaky, using things like the Shadow Nightblade line, which granted you could put on anything. You could be a Shadow DK, a Shadow Sorcerer, a Shadow Archer that's a Templar. You know, you could do all sorts of shadow nonsense these days. And if you are, you might want to be a vampire. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. The nice thing is being a vampire these days is an easy decision, in my opinion. Back in my day, I used to love it for PvP, hated it for PvE, so I had to keep flip-flopping characters, and the armory system didn't allow us to save and do different preset builds, so it was kind of a pain. So I'm glad that in today's day and age, it's a very easy decision for you. If you want to send me your hypotheticals in the comments below, I will do my best to respond. Jake, should I be a vampire if I want to do this very specific type of content? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you guys so much again for watching. We're doing our quick 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do is like the video, be subscribed. We're actually 70 subscribers away from our next major subscriber goal, so please hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think, and look for a hidden word to be flashed upon the screen. There's at least one hidden word per month. Sometimes we hide them in different places, so keep an eye out for that, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.